Okay, so Mouse is asleep and Amira is warming up the snore, so I think we are good to go. Sorry, I'm a little bit late this morning, guys. I've been working on a video for Lily's birthday. I had hoped to have it finished in time for this live stream. I have sent it to myself and I might try and play it at the end, possibly. So, welcome everyone. It's good to see so many people in here already. As you can probably guess, in this video, I want to talk about Shenanigans live stream from yesterday because I thought she came up with some very valid things. I haven't actually checked with her if it's okay for me to use clips from her live stream, so I hope that she is okay with that. I had meant to email her, but I didn't quite get that far. But it is only clips. I'm not playing the full live stream. So if you want the full story, then hop across to her live stream from yesterday. Preferably after my live stream. Don't just abandon me here. Okay, yep, Amira is well and truly warmed up, so we are good to go. In terms of Amira, I know people have been asking. I did give members a brief update last week. She's a lot healthier. She's a lot happier. She's a lot brighter. Her and Mouse have been driving me nuts with their playing around, being crazy puppies, which is good. I'm waiting to hear back from her vet because she had a fill-in vet on Friday, and there's a few issues that I've had to follow up on that were missed. So I haven't had an email back, so I can't really can't give you more of an update than that. I know that's kind of vague, but I'll just leave it at that for now. Just checking, is my audio okay this morning? Give me a 1 if you can hear my audio. I'm not seeing responses. Please tell me that I am actually... I'm cool. Just had to check. I will pre-warn you, I realised after I hit live that I quite possibly have a delivery coming at one point. It should be later this afternoon, but if the dogs suddenly go berserk and I suddenly mute things momentarily, it will only be long enough for me to dash to the front door, grab my delivery, and then come and sit back down. It's not one of those deliveries that can be just left at the door, so I have to actually collect it. Bad timing on my part, but, you know, life goes on. Oh, sorry. Swatting a fly. First of all, I just want to thank everyone again for their support. Last week was difficult with me being unwell, with Amira being unwell. It made it hard for me to keep up with live streams and with videos. As you can see, Amira is in fine form today. So she's clearly missed doing live streams, I think. Oh, yeah, Bonza Sheila, it is almost certainly going to come during my live. I haven't actually checked to see if... Usually I can preempt and see when it's coming because I can check my payments and stuff. But you can almost guarantee that it will come during my live. So you might get to experience all 3 of my dogs going nutso at one moment. So, you know, that's how it goes. I'm just going to say up front, and I've got some absolutely wonderful people in here, but my mods know that they're not going to tolerate any disrespect. So basically, in today's live stream, if you are disrespectful towards anyone in the comments, if you are disrespectful towards me, my mods are going to boot you. You may find that you're lucky enough and they think that your comment isn't too rude and they might only block you for, what's the term? Block you for like 15 minutes or something. But, if you're coming in here to troll, you're pretty much guaranteed that you will be blocked. I want my channel to be a safe space for everyone who comes in. So I don't want any of my subscribers to feel that they are going to come in here and be attacked by someone being disrespectful. And time out, thank you. That's the word. Sorry, my brain doesn't seem to have caught up yet. Like I said, I was busy working on a video, so I've just gone from working on that to jumping into the live. So I haven't had that calm transition time that you need when you have ADHD. So I'm just trying to get into the groove now. So hence the rabbiting on rather than trying to jump straight in, because I am just trying to get my brain in gear before I try to jump in. So Shenanigans did a absolutely fantastic live stream yesterday. Like I said in yesterday's video, I think she really is coming into her own as a content creator. It is so hard when you first start a channel, finding what works for you, just becoming comfortable, all that sort of thing. And I just think yesterday, I thought she was pretty much doing a really good job yesterday with her live stream. And she brought up some really important stuff. This goes back to the video that I put out about a week ago, where I was talking about the malicious rumours that were being put out about people who aren't even connected to the disappearance. So the rumours about Hayden and Haley and everybody else, and my comment about it being something that is likely to see people copying legal action. And I think the way Shenanigans covered it yesterday, I thought was very classy. I thought she made a really good point. And I just wanted to go through her discussion on Anita, but also there's a few other clips in there where she is talking about this whole situation with the rumours and gossip about people who shouldn't be discussed online. People who, regardless of whether the rumours are just rumours or if there's an element of truth in it, it's none of our business. These people didn't ask to be front and centre. So, yeah, she does. She puts her brain in gear. If you're talking about Shenanigans, or yeah, she does. She puts her brain in gear before she opens her mouth. She clearly put a lot of thought into it before she even pressed live with this video yesterday. You can tell that she's really thought it through. She's thought about how to address it in a respectful way, and I thought she really nailed it. So, yeah, I thought it was worth discussing. I was going to just do a link, and I probably will. I'll do a community post after this, doing a share for this live stream. I will also, after this live, I'll put the link down below so that you can, if you want to go listen to it in full. It's long, but it's worth it. I think probably the last maybe half an hour or so is just your regular chatter. So if you just wanted to go in, get the main information, and then, leave after that. But I am going to make one request on behalf of Shenanigans. If you do go in and you listen to it until she's finished talking about the pertinent stuff, if you could just do one thing before you leave, and that is scroll right through to the end of the live stream and watch maybe the last 30 seconds or so, because that tells the algorithm that you think that her content is worthwhile. if you watch only like 2/3 of her live stream, that actually affects it in the algorithm. So it's always good with a content creator that you like. If you're watching their content and you reach, like I said with Shenanigans, you reach the point where, okay, well, let's just chat now. If it's, if you're on the replay, the best thing you can do to help her out, help her get that in the algorithm, help her get more of her live streams recognized, because it sets up a pattern, and they keep YouTube, part of the algorithm, it keeps the statistics. So if it can see that when you watch her live stream, you watch it all the way through every time, it is going to keep recommending her live streams out there into the algorithm. So definitely, if you go across and watch her live stream but you don't watch through to the end, you reach a point where you're like, okay, I've got what I need to know. Do help her out. Scroll through to the end and watch like the last 30 seconds or something, so that YouTube thinks you have watched the entire live stream. Anyway, getting back to today, as you know, for those of us in Australia, it's actually the 23rd of March, but regardless, today would have been Lily's 7th birthday. It's definitely something that I'm very mindful of. I dropped a quick YouTube short last night when I went to bed. It was a bit of a rush job, but I have worked this morning on a proper video for Lily. But I did want to just get that little short dropped first, so that it was just there showing my recognition. I just want to remind people to be kind to Belinda and Chelsea and other family members today, because it's going to be a hard day for them, or it has been a hard day for them, I guess, given that in Canada you're already pretty much into the evening. So just a reminder to be mindful of Belinda and Chelsea and any other family members who might pop up on the radar anywhere. I have my thoughts with regarding to Malaya, but today's not the appropriate time for me to say that. As for Daniel and Janie, I don't give a damn about them. So they didn't give a damn about Lily and Jack, and honestly, they don't deserve anything from us, as far as I'm concerned. Oh, hi, Chelsea. Yeah, true. There is no reason. Okay, I'm going to try and pin that without losing you. I did it. So I'm getting better at this live stream thing. Chelsea said there's no reason anyone should be anything but kind today for Lily. And that is so true. Okay, so I'm going to jump in and start playing the audio of this, and then we'll just discuss it as we go along.
All I'm going to say is, with regards to what happened with Meadow, none of it is as it seems. So, and when the time is right, it'll all be out there. The truth is somewhere out there. There are elements of truth in everyone's story. And put it all together, take out the bullshit, the truth is there. However, when you have people, certain people, not everyone, only telling 20% of the truth in a story, it gets harder and harder to weed out the facts from the shit.
I have to say, I thought she was being quite generous. And I said this in last night's video as well. I thought she was generous, saying that there was only 20% of truth in what some people were saying, because I think it would be pushing it to say there was 10% truth in what a lot of people are saying. Now, I understand where she's coming from in terms of saying at the right time the truth will come out. That's a tricky one for me. Like I said in last night's video, I think in terms of the level of misinformation that is coming out just with regards to this one particular incident, a little bit of correction would go a long way. But at the same time, we are talking about a situation regarding a child who is in CPS care. So we do need to be very cautious in terms of what information is being put out there. Hi, Shenanigans. I've just been singing your praises. I do think I may have put my foot in it before watching Shenanigans live stream because I was quite upset about some of the things that were being put out there in terms of information about Meadow, because I thought this is a child in care who should not be discussed online. And I actually put in a complaint with CPS, not realizing at the time that I was putting in a complaint about someone who actually wasn't a CPS approved carer. It's done. I can't take it back now. So anyway, if there are consequences for her for making those lies, it's not my fault. But I do think, like I said, I can see where Shenanigans is coming from because the baby isn't a part of this case. So, yeah, like I'd like to see a little bit of clarification from Cheryl or someone, but I understand why they don't want to because of the situation.
I've had a lot of correspondence with a lot of people. A lot of people try to push their agenda through me. I had a witness, alleged witness, trying to push some things through me recently, and he won't be the last person I tell to go fuck themselves. I won't be intimidated. You're not going to discourage me from continuing to talk about this case. So carry on.
And Shenanigans got 2 videos of her own made. So huge clap for Shenanigans. Well done. You got your own 2 special videos. So we can now have a Shenanigans fan club because she is now a celebrity with 2 videos having been made about her. I think kudos to her for making a stand like that. I wish I had her way of putting things diplomatically because you know me, I am, well, I mean, it's partly because I am Australian and we just say it how it is. But I'm not always diplomatic. But Shenanigans just pretty much nailed it. She said it how it was without losing too much, blah, without, being sounding disrespectful. Sorry, I'm trying to read the comments at the same time, but yeah, well done to Shenanigans. And as much as I would love to watch your new fan videos, apparently one of them is members only. So we'll just be your fans here. And then, I mean, I could make a video about you if you like, but it's probably not going to be as fantastic as the fan videos that have been made about you elsewhere. And look, to be honest, while I would love to make a fan video about you, I've got a lot of other things to do today, so you will just have to just be fans from a distance.
Carry on. Put me in your next video. Don't care.
Or 2.
I laugh because of how hilarious it is and how disgusting you think that your videos help this case at all.
Oh, yeah, and I forgot to mention, my mods are celebrities too. I think they got I haven't checked, but I think they got their own special fan videos as well. Or were they part of a fuller fan video? I don't know. But it seems like today, if you are here in this live stream, you are currently surrounded by celebrities. So you should consider yourself honoured.
When most of it's just unfounded slander. But I've been guilty of it myself, I guess, once or twice. I can take that pill and swallow it.
Okay, sorry, I'm not going to keep pausing this much normally, but no, Shenanigans had 2 videos, hasn't she? Or has it been... Anyway, I just want to say that is a sign of a good content creator when they are prepared to come out and admit that they make mistakes. I've had to do it on occasion. It's hard because you are doing it for an audience and you're always worried that it is going to come back and be thrown in your face at some point in time. But it is far better to just be yourself, admit that you don't always get it right. And like I said, it is a steep learning curve when you start a channel here on YouTube. I think back to when I first started my channel. At the time, I didn't feel confident to put my voice out there, so the majority of my Kylie Rodney videos, you don't have me talking in them. There was one video, I think, where I ended up having to come out and tell people, actually, no, I'm Australian, because they were thinking that it was another content creator with an extra channel. But, you know, we learn along the way. And to me, I think, yeah, well done, Shenanigans. You're on the right track.
So to recap, I have been told by members of Malaya's family that Anita watched Meadow one time for a couple of hours. That she is unreliable and to question her family members if we want to know about her. So,
Sorry, I'm just going to stop there because Charles is saying not sure how long she'll be here. I hope you're feeling the love today from everyone, Chelsea. We do very much care about you, about your mother, about Lily and Jack. And I do feel honoured that you do come and watch my videos. So thank you. I just want to remind people, and I will put the link again in this at the end after I finish this live stream. I'll put it in the comments. I mean, in the discussion. Okay, I need to get my brain working properly. I will put it in the description section for this video. Belinda has a TikTok account, and it would be lovely if you are a TikTok person, if you go over and show some love there today for Belinda. I did see that there was a post up there last night when I posted my video in TikTok. But yeah, if you are a TikTok follower, then I will provide the link and hop over and just send some love for Belinda today, because I think yeah, today's definitely a day to send the love. Thank you so much, Rookie Cookie. Very much appreciated. Okay, when I can find the play button.
Seeing as I've spent more time with Anita alone than Anita spent with Meadow alone, you can make of that what you will, but I have had the exact same conversation with Anita that she had with Mike DeMann, that she had with A Balance, that she had with Charmaine, and that she had with pretty much any other creator. And
Yeah, not so much with me because I questioned her really quickly. You've probably seen my screenshots after she made her post about driving her car and having Meadow in the car. And I had messaged her and said, look, are you able to talk more about this? And her saying, I can't because I'm not allowed to talk, and coming back to me. One of the first things she told me was that Cindy and Wade had never been to the trailer. And I questioned her and said, well, that's interesting because Janie, does that mean Janie was lying? And we know Janie's a liar. But the reason I was curious was because Janie wouldn't lie about Cindy having been to the trailer a few times, because Janie does not like Malaya or Cindy. And that shut it down completely. She ghosted me. She sent me a few links to, or she sent me one audio from Mike DeMann and a link to one of his videos. That was all. Completely ghosted after that. Thanks, Shenanigan.
and I met her in person, and I haven't heard from her since. And that was because I did not put out the 4 hours of conversation that she had with me.
Yeah, she was clearly hoping that Shenanigans was her first target by the sounds of it. Sounds like she was clearly hoping that Shenanigans would just buy everything she said, run back and start making a series of videos sharing the gossip. Unfortunately for her, she's dealing with someone who has a actual brain in their head and who is actually able to use a little bit of critical thinking and a little bit of logic.
Because I found that very small percentage of that information was accurate. I think that it is worse than gossip. It is defamation, actually.
It is defamation and it is damaging. Like I said in my video, I think last week, what goes online stays online. You have people who have had some really horrible gossip shared about them, gossip which probably isn't true, and like Shan is saying, most of it isn't. That stuff is there for good. Now, I am working behind the scenes to try and get a lot of that stuff removed. Hopefully, Cheryl and that are also trying to get some of that removed if they need help with navigating the whole YouTube thing. If Shan's not sure how to do it, I can help. But, you know, there are times and places for things. And the sort of gossip that has been put out is slanderous and should never have been brought out.
And I wonder what the motives are and why. Because none of that is going to help find Jack and Lily. And again, the purpose of my channel was always to try to gather relevant information, mapping, timelines, and actually doing something constructive, like using the funds from my channel to support agencies that are actually searching and helping search for the children, or that could have benefited the children should they have still been around. The comments coming out that Wade and her have been in this together are false. And I do wonder whether Darren and Anita were communicating a long time ago.
She has voiced things here that I've been wondering about. And I am going to do a video discussing whether there is this connection between Anita and Durwood, because there are some major things that stand out for me. Even just the approach. So, yeah, I think she's probably right on the money here. I think there is probably a definite connection between Anita and Durwood. I'd be very interested to know. I suspect that she may have been putting forward fake witness accounts, possibly, maybe in the past. I could be wrong. Speculation. Someone made a very astute comment there were two very astute comments that I want to bring up right now. One of them was made in Shan's live stream, and that was that it seems like Anita maybe has a bit of a crush on Wade. And it certainly does, because she seems to, everything's about Wade. Wade's the hero here. But then someone made a really, really astute comment in, I think it was my video yesterday, that I hadn't even thought of. And they pointed out that from Tint doing that video back in August, I think it was, July or August, once we realised that really was Wade and it wasn't someone putting out a fake video, a lot of us were quite grateful, because Wade was quite frank about the things he was saying. And we knew he was being truthful because, of course, he didn't know he was being recorded. So I think a lot of people gained a lot of respect for Wade for basically saying it how it was. And I can't help wondering, now I do believe that she does have connections with Cindy and Wade, but I can't help wondering if the reason why she is putting Wade as the hero in her story is because she has followed the case, she's done her research, and I'm going to discuss this kind of situation more in a video that I'm working on later today. But to me, I feel this is what someone suggested, and I think they are probably spot on, that basically the reason she's putting Wade forward as her co-conspirator person is because of our perception of Wade as almost a bit of a hero in the situation for speaking out. So I think a kudos. I wish I could remember who it was, because it is one of my regular subscribers, and I would love to be able to actually shout them out properly. But kudos to the person who made that comment, because that hadn't occurred to me, and it makes sense. Just like her using Belinda to gain credibility to get an in with shenanigans. She clearly knows how to manipulate people very well. So she, first of all, went to Belinda to get the credibility to get Belinda to approach shenanigans and say, look, this person wants to talk to you, this witness. Unfortunately for Anita, shenanigans didn't fall for it.
Why would she lie? Indeed. Who's put her up to it? Is she being paid? What is the purpose? Why does she have these ulterior motives? I don't know why. I don't know why, but you got to ask yourself why she stopped talking to me after I didn't put out the narrative that she wanted me to push.
Shan and I aren't the only two people that have been ghosted after we haven't played the game.
Why she told me that she only spent summers in Truro when she was growing up, but then I heard that she went to high school with some of these people.
Apparently, she has told people that she's lived in Boston, she's lived in Florida, and she's lived in Peggy's Cove. Yeah, yeah, farm girl. We really didn't play the game because we both asked questions that we weren't supposed to ask. And I gather the other person that told me they were ghosted, I think they said that was the same thing with them. They asked about something, and that was pretty much it. So, yeah. I should
There's
have
a lot of
edited out the
inconsistency.
pauses.
I am someone that reads too much into things. I know I do. I pick on points. And I've replayed her conversation in my head many, many times. And it didn't add up. Damien says it's because I'm not easily manipulated.
Oh.
Yeah, Damien's right. Women's Warrior, can I recommend, rather than putting your email address in my comments, maybe delete that. If you go into the description for any of my videos, you can find my email address. In fact, maybe someone can whack it up on the screen for you. It is all in one word, about true crime at gmail.com, I think. I'd be very wary about posting your email address publicly, especially given that the things have been happening this week. So probably just grab my email address and email me and maybe delete your comment. Now I've forgotten, there was something else I was going to comment on with someone. Oh, this question. Is this Cindy's plan to have this Anita character troll YouTubers? No, I don't believe it is, because Cindy has been one of her main targets. She has been quite negative about Cindy. I think the only person on that side of the family who hasn't been attacked, oh, probably Patty as well, but everyone aside from Wade and Patty have been attacked, and she's been putting out lots of rumours about them. So I think that perhaps, no, I don't think Cindy's got anything to do with any of this.
Maybe. Anita is a real person. I sat across a table from her for 4 hours. Face to face. So who is she actually loyal to? I ask myself that too. And I wonder if it has more to do with her spouse than we realize.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Um, I'm wondering if Shenanigans has done her research. I'm wondering if she's going down the same rabbit hole that I've gone down. I might email her and compare notes. But yes, I am a little bit curious about the fiance. He's not her husband. He is her fiance.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at collecting information. Information gathering is a forte of mine. Well, I'm not going to try to slate AB too much, but he's wrong on this one. He's wrong on this one. And he knows my feelings. I've always been an advocate for Blea. I will continue to do so until I'm proven wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, I will email you Shenanigans because you might be able to access additional information with regards to that rabbit hole that I've been going down. Just because you are actually there and can probably access records that I don't have access to.
The Karen Steves is on Facebook. I don't do any of the Facebook chats, and I don't do any of the Facebook groups. I will look at the uncensored group from time to time if somebody sends me something, but ultimately it is just a cesspool of drama and misinformation. Yeah, when do you recall Karen Steves in all of this, and anyone who's been following this case, who remembers Karen Steves? Because I've been following this case since day one, and I know your names. I recognize your names. I recognize the regulars. So that's why when I see someone that's new, I'm like, who the heck is this?
And that's the hilarious thing with all these trolls and all these sock accounts. Nearly all of us have been in this from day one. I was listening to some of Justin's live stream from the other day, and he said he was in it from only a few hours after they were reported missing. So we've all been in this case from pretty much day one. I think I was probably about 5 days out, but even still, we know who everybody is. So when suddenly a new sock account pops up or a new person pops up who none of us have seen before, we're not idiots. We know that you're someone who has popped up probably with an agenda. Yes, there are people who've come into the case late, but when you pop up and you are trolling people, you are causing trouble, and you can we can tell. We know that you're basically there for the wrong reasons. So yeah, we're not stupid.
Mike Demand thinks his relationship with Anita is exclusive. You make sure you tell him that I met her and I have, I'm going to say, 20 plus pages of her exclusive information.
I believe that. I had a conversation with one of my subscribers who had also had a lengthy conversation with this Anita in the background, and she had reams and reams and reams of pages of information that Anita had given her. And this information is now stuff that is being put out by Mike Darman, stuff that shouldn't be put out. I mean, straight away when I had a conversation with this subscriber over the things that were being said, I straight away was even more cautious about this Anita woman. And yeah, it seems like she has, I couldn't even begin to tell you how many people have told me that she has been communicating with them in the background. She's not giving anyone exclusive information. She is giving her stories to anyone who will listen. Although I probably should add on to that she probably expected to make Shenanigans her exclusive outlet. And then when Shenanigans didn't take the bait, she probably thought she needed to just go and contact as many people as possible and hope that someone would blurt out her stories.
Came around November 2025. Yeah.
I just do want to comment here on Women's Warriors' comment. This is really unfair on Belinda. This is really unfair on the family to have people spreading rumours, people getting completely off topic. When the Kylie Rodney case first came out, a lot of us were, I guess, upset and annoyed because law enforcement had basically put a shield around Kylie's family. So people could not make contact with Kylie's mother or her father or stepfather or grandfather or anything like that. There was like this media shield around them. And people were so ticked off. Sure, Lindsay came out and made a few statements, and there were some town meetings, and Lindsay spoke at the town meetings. But other than that, people were not able to get any access to her to have conversations about the case or anything like that. And a lot of us just were annoyed, and we were like, well, we want answers. But having seen all this stuff that's been going on, having seen the attempts to manipulate Belinda, having seen the way that I feel, and I hope I'm not speaking out of turn here, but I feel that Belinda is being tugged in multiple different directions by people, some of whom have good intentions, others who are just in it for their own needs. And I now understand why there was that media shield around Lindsay and everyone in Kylie's case. Because you're going through this emotional nightmare, this emotional marathon, and you have people also wanting a piece of you at the same time, wanting your exclusive information or wanting to use you to give credibility to their stories. So yeah, I get it now. I really do. Squid Omelette, as far as I know, the only communication this woman does is through Facebook Messenger. There's been no audio. There's absolutely no audio for us to base anything on. When you are reading written comments, it is much harder to decide if someone is being deceptive. The only way to find out if someone is being deceptive is to make sure that you know what it is you are discussing in the first place. So, for me, when it comes to this case, I have almost a didactic memory. I wouldn't say that I have, like, I can remember everything word for word, but I remember so much in relation to this case. So for me, when people start putting out things that don't add up, straight away, I know where things don't add up, and I can go look it up and check. But if you're not picking up on the inaccuracies, if you don't know the case well enough to pick up on inaccuracies, then yes, you may miss the deception. Because the thing is, with these sort of tragedy pimps, they study the case really thoroughly before they come out and start putting their stories out. That's why these people, you don't see them in the first month or so of a case. You only see them later on in the case when things are starting to slow down, when they have studied every bit of information that comes out and they think they've remembered every bit of information. There was, with the Maddie Soto case, there was a person that came out claiming to have been a flatmate, and listening to that audio, now I didn't do a video on it because I didn't want to make waves with a particular content creator, but listening to that audio, there were a number of inaccuracies in that audio, which straight away showed me that that woman was a tragedy pimp. And that's what's going on here. And because there's no actual audio of this woman, it makes it so much harder for people to actually twig. So, I think as the content creator, if you do not know the case intimately and someone approaches you with inside information, then you probably shouldn't even be talking to them. Because it takes someone like Shenanigans, who knows this case really well, who's spoken to people who she knows are, real people connected to the case, to know that when she's being told things, these things aren't truthful. Anyway, we'll keep going with that.
Yeah. There's very few people. Damien says, unless the information is coming from RCMP, question the legitimacy. Absolutely. There is very few people that are involved in this case that I trust. And there's a whole section that
sorry, I just got a butt in here. Beautiful Mess, that particular content creator who put out the flatmate interview, there was a reason why I started referring to her as she who should not be named or shall not be named on my channel, because she actually made a privacy complaint about me simply for mentioning her name on my channel, which is the reason why I didn't go after that flatmate.
There's a reason for that. Yeah. Am I upset if you watch other people's channels? No. I don't care. You guys watch whatever you want. It has no bearing on me whatsoever. I just want you all to remain open-minded and keep your critical thinking hats on and ask the questions. And if people get really upset with questions,
Bingo. Shan needs to put that out as a YouTube short. You need to keep going with your critical thinking. You need to use logic. And yes, you should not believe someone just because they use another person for credibility or because they claim that they have given a sworn statement to RCMP. You need to use your own brain. That's what our brains are for. And yeah, she's 100% with this. And the moment somebody gets upset because you question them, that is a massive, massive, massive red flag. Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
I just don't have time for bullshit. I don't have time for Durwood. I don't have time for any of the flying monkeys that work with or alongside Durwood. I don't have time for Daniel. I'm sorry, because he's had every opportunity. And I don't have time for Logan or any of them because I know people that in Pictou County and they all tell me the same thing. They would lie till they were blue in the face for each other. There is something sinister that is going on. Whether it's because of Jack and Lily or whether it's for other reasons, it will come out. But there's a lot. There's one thing that Daniel said that I believe. There's more than meets the eye.
Yeah, possibly the only truth that's ever come out of Daniel. There are leakages here and there, but she's so spot on. Yeah, I'll just bring this one up as well. Anita's story, she has used so many strategies that you see from tragedy pimps. And there are so many variations on her stories. And I think, this goes back to the strategy of this is exclusive. I am talking to only you. So, you are my exclusive source. Because when you do that as a tragedy pimp, that stops people comparing notes and finding out that you are forgetting your lies. So it is just one of the many strategies that you see from these tragedy pimps. Yeah, Bonza Sheila, I speak Bogan too. I went and saw what was that hoax movie? The one that was big in America too. I went and saw that when I was a kid. I know how to speak Bogan. Sorry, if you're not Australian, you probably think we're crazy now. Anyway, moving on.
Yes. And they all have something to lose, particularly those that live in Lansdowne Station. They have too much to lose to let it go. Because one of the things that Anita has done is not only slander Malaya, slander Cindy, slander Hayden, Haley, the entire family.
Not just the entire family. I'm going to pause it there also because I want to point out Cheryl's statement. Because there's been allegations made against Cheryl too. She's got nothing to do with the disappearance of Lily and Jack. Like so many of these people that have these malicious rumours being put out about them. Cheryl hadn't even seen Malaya in 2 years. She didn't know where Malaya lived. Now, I can't remember if it was Cheryl or Haley, but one of them actually said they needed to first find out where Malaya lived before they could even go there on the day that they found out the children were missing. And so why target Cheryl? So Cheryl was saying here I don't do drugs or pills. I take pills every day, aka blood thinners to keep myself alive. But that would be all. But you know what? It's none of our business. And I don't mean this in a negative way. I don't care if Cheryl does do the occasional recreational drug or if she goes out and goes drinking, because it's none of my business. It doesn't have any impact when it comes to Lily and Jack. Cheryl's private life had nothing to do with the disappearance of Lily and Jack. So it's not my business. It's not anybody's business other than Cheryl's.
Entire family, except for Wade, who she's trying to insinuate is her best friend forever. Maybe that's the infatuation. Maybe that's what it all comes down to.
Sorry, I'm just trying to pin a comment. Such an important point by Farm Girl. She's told people to try and make them think that they're special. They're, they're the chosen one, because she's told people, I'm not supposed to talk. I gave a sworn statement, so they've asked me not to say anything. And yet she's out giving multiple stories to people all across the board. And the thing is, because she is putting out all these stories and they're completely different anyway, if there was anything valuable in what she allegedly knows, she's no good as a witness now. She would be straight away impeached. You could guarantee 100% that if she had been a witness in this case in any way whatsoever, that straight up a defence team would go against her straight away and have everything that she has said basically considered, nah, you can't use that. It would be thrown out of court because basically, you can't be a secret witness and then come out with 20,000 different stories about the same thing. Yeah, even if she was telling the truth, any decent defence attorney would eat her alive on the stand. That would actually be quite hilarious. I have watched some court cases where I have seen people just be utterly decimated on the stand by attorneys. Some instances it wasn't justified, but geez, I would love to see an attorney just tear her to shreds on the stand, because they would.
Thank you for clearing that up, Cheryl.
Okay, I need to address this because I know someone also asked me, are you going to do a video breaking down the things that Anita has said? There is a reason why I'm not referring to the things that she has said, and that is because pretty much everything I have heard that has come from her has either been malicious slander, malicious gossip, or completely non-factual. Like these claims of Cindy and Hayden and whoever being there in this maroon car on the morning that the children went missing, 40 minutes after Malaya called 911. Total impossibility. Yeah, there is nothing in what she has said that I would like to discuss on my channel, and I certainly will not be addressing any of the malicious rumours that she's put out there with regards to Hayden, Hayley. These are things that I would not dare repeat on my channel because they should not be out there. It was personal information, and it was unnecessary. And honestly, I'm disgusted that anyone would even consider sharing that sort of thing on their channels.
I think Cheryl and the rest of the family should get a litigation lawyer and send out a cease and desist, a real one.
I agree 100% with shenanigans there. And look, I would actually recommend contacting the lawyer who took on the Dylan Ealer case, because clearly she was quite passionate about that. And I think if Cheryl, etc., if Cheryl and everyone contacted her, and if you go back through my videos from last week, there is a clip of her where you can find the name, or you could just do a Google search. I'm sure it'd come up. That would be somewhere to start. I'm sure there would have to be lawyers in the area who would jump at helping the family to get this stuff removed and to get an order created, because it has to stop. I've had my say the other day, but especially with the younger members of the family, Haley and Hayden, I mean, yeah, they're adults, but they're barely adults. So why do people think that they have the right to share malicious gossip about them online? It just makes me so angry and so upset.
There was somebody who was pulling the strings behind that argument, Trail Hiker, between Jordan and Anita. There was someone that caused that argument.
Geez, I'd love to know more about that, but I'm guessing that if she hasn't shared it online, there is probably a reason, but that wouldn't surprise me, because Jordan was really, really upset. If you heard that audio, yeah, he was very, very upset.
Cheryl says she met that woman once and once only.
There's 3 versions of that one too. She told me that she'd met Cheryl a few times. She had some comments about Cheryl that were not so nice. And then there is a post somewhere which I've got a screenshot of, and I'm going to include this in another video, where she said she's never met Cheryl. So I don't know which one is actually supposed to be the truthful answer, but I'm guessing that since Cheryl was there, that Cheryl probably knows better than anyone how many times she met Anita.
Yeah.
Here's another one of our local celebrities. Detective Tam also got her own special fan video made about her. In fact, I think the video was all about her. So congratulations, Tam. Everyone give a clap for Detective Tam, because she is one of our local celebrities also, because she got her own special fan video. And she is spot on. It is unacceptable what Anita has said about Cindy and Hayden and that entire family.
Oh, she gave out a lot of information that was completely disgusting and inaccurate. So, yeah. I think what you can call them is they're called tragedy pimps. But I think there's more to it than that. You see them come out.
Sorry, I was trying to click on that and then more comments were happening. Shenanigans is spot on, the tragedy pimps. That's where I've basically taken the term from, and my next video is, or it could actually be the title for this one, I'm not sure. But yeah, I have used that title as a video because she's spot on. It is this tragedy pimp situation.
These kind of people in like all cases or in multiple cases, right? To actually like make money somehow, some way. There's been quite a few in this case, actually. I was approached.
I just want to address this in terms of the discussion about the baby that's been happening on Facebook and on YouTube and everything like that. It is actually illegal, for starters. People should not be discussing details of a child that is in care. But not only that, like I said about the other things, this information, once it's on the internet, it stays on the internet. Imagine when she reaches primary school, when she's at school and people find out information and suddenly they're talking about things from when she was a baby. It should not be happening. That is why these laws exist, to protect children in care, because it is, it is a huge thing in terms of long-term impact. Nobody should be giving out medical details about a child, whether the child's in care or not, unless it is something that is released as part of a case. So with Maddie Soto, there was a lot of stuff that Jen Soto put out there in terms of Maddie's issues with anxiety and stuff like that, which we know was, I can guarantee 100% with Maddie Soto, the issues that she was having was complex PTSD because of 7 or 8 years of putting up with what that monster Stearns was doing. But, it was, the information was coming out from her mother. It was part of the case discussion. But this baby isn't even part of the case. Her father should not have been putting photos of her on his Facebook, publicly posting photos that made it look like she was his special trophy, because that's all it was. He was putting up photos. I don't know if it was to show Malaya and rub it in that he was having these visits, or whether it was just using her as a trophy for the public to try and make people think that, hey, look at me, I'm a good dad. There should be a complete ban on any images of that child being posted anywhere. And people should not be discussing medical stuff in relation to her at all. Yes, it was not a good household, but we've got to remember that this little girl is going to grow up and this stuff is going to be on the internet. And this little girl has an older brother and sister who are old enough to be hearing things at school from their friends. And this stuff does get passed around. I can remember when I was in grade 5 and I lived in a very middle class area. It was the sort of area where you had very few single parents. It was your typical 2-parent household. The dad worked, the mum might have worked part-time, but mostly she was there when the kids got home after school. And in grade 5, there was a new boy came to our class, and he had moved down from Victoria, which is where I live now. And the parents had been gossiping about his mother behind the scenes and about him. And that information was being reported or repeated in the classroom by other students. So, yes, it happens. Children hear so much more than what people realise they hear. And we have 3 children here, 3 minors, who need to be protected. So, talking about this baby online and sharing this sort of information is harmful for her, it's illegal, but it can also impact on her 2 older siblings who are still alive.
I was approached by Belinda, actually, to speak to Anita because Anita had reached out to Belinda. That's how it happened. Anita reached out to Belinda and had been talking to Belinda for quite some time. And Belinda asked me to speak with her.
Like I said before, she used Belinda for credibility. Even before I communicated with her, I had dropped a message to Belinda saying, "What do you know about this woman?" And Belinda's like, "Well, she seems credible." So what she has done here is she has originally gone to Belinda. She's fed her a lot of information, tried to create a relationship. She probably thought, given that Belinda has had conversations with many content creators, maybe she thought that Belinda would go on someone's live stream and discuss it herself. But Belinda kept it all to herself because that's what this Anita woman requested. Because Belinda, didn't think, "Oh, cool, this is a chance for me to give exclusive content." She went, "Oh, this person has asked me to keep it to myself, so I will." So then, because Belinda wasn't feeding the information out, having already attempted to manipulate her to get her to share the information, but also having set herself up to gain credit from her association with Belinda, she has then asked Belinda to connect her with Shenanigans. Because rather than going to Shenanigans herself, by getting Belinda to hook her up with Shenanigans, that gives her this credibility simply from association with Belinda. Again, like her talking about Wade, because we've all said, well, Wade sounds honest. So she has used Belinda and Wade to convince people that she is credible.
So I did. And after communicating for several days through very erratic messages, often repeated over and over and over again, I thought, I'm going to meet this person.
Okay, I've actually got 2 comments to address here. First of all, I'd love to know what she told RCMP. We don't know if she's actually said anything to RCMP. Now, Belinda has said that she contacted RCMP and they said they were aware of Benita or something like that. The wording of it, yeah, Amira is in fine form today. She's snoring flat out. Or are you referring to Mad Dog? So even the way I heard it from Belinda makes it sound that, yeah, it's Amira snoring. She's under my desk. So I think it's more that they are aware of her as opposed to her actually having given any sort of statement. And yeah, Bonza Aussie Sheila, you are so spot on. I think Shan's too smart to have some random person coming with stories and to believe her unless this person comes with some sort of credentials. So she's basically taken advantage of Belinda, and she's taken advantage of her association with Wade. And one thing I noticed is, and I think I mentioned this in another video, in terms of Cindy and Wade, this woman might be friends with Cindy and Wade on Facebook, but if you look at her Facebook, the first mention of Cindy is May the 9th. Then there's another mention on May 22nd. 2 posts where she has put a photo of herself with Cindy and where she has tagged Cindy. Cindy did not respond to either of those posts, neither did Wade. And then later in the year, Cindy's birthday came along, same thing again. She put a birthday post out for Cindy, tagged Cindy in it, and there was no response from Cindy. So that tells you what sort of relationship that is. Yes, she probably knows them from some while back, but clearly it's not a close relationship. Now, one thing that Belinda said to me in terms of credibility for this woman was, she said, well, she's shown me photos from Cindy that aren't out online, and she's shared information that I heard from Cody and Malaya. Well, the thing with these tragedy pimps is they are basically using their connections. So if she is Facebook friends with Cindy and Facebook friends with Wade, you can bet before she targeted Belinda that she went through Cindy's Facebook and Wade's Facebook, and if she's friends with Malaya's Facebook, and pulled out any photos from like around Cindy's house or videos that Cindy might have put up that weren't publicly shared, so that she could use them to create credibility and say, this is what Cindy shared with me. But I wouldn't be surprised if you could find all those things on either Cindy, Malaya, or Wade's Facebook, because that's how these people operate.
And see what she's like in person. So I sat there and I listened for 4 hours. In fact, I don't think I asked many questions. She was asking me to ask her questions.
Huge red flag. The moment someone is trying to get you to ask them about specific things, that is a huge red flag. So clearly, Shan was probably so busy just trying to remember, make sure that everything that she heard, that she would remember. And clearly, she wasn't playing the game from the beginning, because she was supposed to be asking questions. I have no doubt that this woman was probably hinting at things and was getting annoyed because Shan wasn't taking her hints. Yeah, she's real. Shenanigans met with her and spoke to her for 4 hours. She's just a big fraud in terms of the stuff she's coming out with. She did not live at Cindy and Wade's, which is something she's claimed. She babysat Meadow for 2 hours. And clearly her connection with Cindy and Wade isn't what she would like people to believe, because like I said, there is no interaction on Facebook between them. Yes, she has tagged Cindy a few times after the children went missing, but Cindy never responded to any of her posts. There is no responses on her Facebook from Cindy or Wade ever, at any time.
So I am saying, Karen Steves, that until you meet someone in person and have a conversation with them face to face, that you should always be worried about being misled. I believe that law enforcement could step in, and I implore them to do so. because what is being put out there by Anita about some of these people are very young, including Hayden. Yeah, she needs.
I actually have to look up baby reindeer after this live stream, because that's not something that I'm aware of. It must be something Canadian that I've not come across. But yeah,
Be shut down. She does need to be shut down. And it'll happen. But sometimes
what is her end game? I think she's one of these people who, I think there is definitely malicious intent. I think there is either jealousy towards Cindy or resentment. Maybe she didn't get what she wanted out of Cindy. Maybe she, looking at the date of when she connected herself with Cindy, it appears that, to me, that everything she's done has been performative. I think that she tried to hook up with Cindy in May, or reconnect with Cindy or whatever, to get attention for herself as part of this Cindy's grandchildren being missing. So it allows her to get this additional sympathy from other people because she's in there as well. She's boots on ground. So it's her way of trying to get attention alongside Cindy. But that clearly backfired. So then she has come out instead and tried to get public attention. And you will notice that a lot of the people, Shenanigans is not the only person who is saying that she has pages and pages of communication with this woman. I spoke to someone who said this woman was just on there the entire day sending her message after message. And if you look at her Facebook page, there was one particular day back in February where she posted something like 30 posts in one day. So there is definitely an element there of trying to get attention for herself. With people sharing her stories online, that gets her attention. And it's something that she would get a lot of enjoyment out of because it is still attention for her, whichever way you look at it. But at the same time, there seems to be this association with Durwood and Daniel and other stuff. I think there is a possibility that Shan could be onto something in terms of it could have some connections with her fiance. So there could also be additional motivation in terms of periphery involvement, perhaps. Anyway, let's hear Shan out.
the RCMP like to give people rope. No, she was not CPS approved or appointed. And if Cheryl's still here, she can tell you that as well. She babysat one time for a couple of hours. We have so much respect for John and Rob in general. They are great men, and they do truly care about this case.
So it seems like we're all fans of Rob McCammon. Not just those of us online, but it sounds like Cheryl and the family are also fans of Rob McCammon. I have to say, he does definitely come across as passionate about the case. I totally agree.
I imagine they have a lot of sleepless nights. Well, I'll tell you what. If Anita carries on, then my next donation will be to secure a lawyer, a liable lawyer for Malea's family to shut her down. So take that as you will. If it doesn't stop, my next funding will be going there. Maybe I'll talk to Adam.
Shan is a good person. I would love to be able to say that I would also pitch in, but at the moment I've just completely wiped out all my savings and finances on vet bills, and it looks like we are possibly not finished with that yet. So I will just lend my support in terms of saying I strongly agree that they should actually look into a lawyer at the very least to get all this gossip shut down, to get this woman shut down, because it does stay there forever, and it should not be staying there forever. I think I'm not sure. I haven't looked into that law so much yet. Certainly with regards to the CPS stuff with the baby, I think that RCMP could step in and there could be charges with regards to that. As for the other stuff, I have to look into that a bit more. I have been doing a lot of research in the background with regards to CPS and that sort of stuff, and I will be doing a video on that. That kind of got put by the wayside over the last couple of weeks because of all the vet issues with Amira. You can probably tell my brain hasn't really been in the game 100% lately, but I do have all the information there to go to do a very interesting video in relation to that sort of stuff. Yeah, I won't go too much further into that, but yeah. That's all I've got in terms of clips from Shan. But if you want to go across and watch her full video from yesterday, like I said, if you do, and if you get to the end where it's just, conversation like what we're having now, please don't just click off. Scroll right through to the end and watch the last 30 seconds or something so that YouTube sees you as watching the entire thing, and basically it doesn't affect her in terms of the algorithm. When do I have time to sleep? I do manage to sleep, but I must admit I do have trouble switching off. I tend to do this with nearly every case that I cover. I try to make, when I go to bed, that's usually when I stop thinking about the case, when I try to find something different to wind down, but there's always something that pops up in my head that I have to look up. Even with last night, I went to bed and I wanted to get that short done for Lily and Jack. So it was 11:30 at night, and I'm lying in bed creating a YouTube short for Lily's birthday. And then, obviously thinking about lots of stuff. So I try to sleep. There are some days when I'm not quite fully alert because of that. It's just the ADHD. I just cannot turn it off. When I get focused on a case like this, it does become something that is a major, major focus. It's just the way I am. So now my brain seems to be winding down, but I I will be hopefully getting a video out later today, which will be tomorrow morning if you are in Canada and the States. I've got all the clips for that. I just haven't gotten around to doing it. I am going to ask people, please hit the like button. It's something that I would very, very much appreciate from those of you who are watching. My videos haven't been getting out into the algorithm over the last few days. I'm not going to go too much into that because those of you who know what I'm talking about anyway. But you can help me get my videos out there into the algorithm, get my live streams into the algorithm by hitting the like button. And also, if you are watching on replay, if you can please leave a comment, because of course that also shows YouTube that gets it out into the algorithm. But yeah, definitely please hit the like, definitely helping out. And I should also say, for anyone who's watching now or on replay, if you are not subscribed to my channel, I would dearly love it if you did. Now, I am going to try and pull up, and hopefully I won't lose you guys in the same moment, but I'm going to try and pull up to finish off. Okay, I think this is going to come up.
Now I want to know.
Okay, I'm just going to pause there first. I'm going to put this out as a video on its own, but this is the reason I was late. So this is what I put together this morning for Lily. So I just wanted to play this at the end. I didn't want to play it at the beginning because I got a bit emotional putting it together. So I didn't want to start my live stream emotional. But yeah, today should have been Lily's 7th birthday. So I wanted to finish my live by recognizing that. I really, really want to get some clarification with this comment about the baby being in the car with Anita. I will probably chat with Shan about it and see if there's something that she can at least tell us to give some clarification. Damien, welcome to memberships. Okay, so I am going to say thank you, and I'm going to sign off here. But please do watch this video. This is for Lily.
Everybody seems to be talking about everybody else, and I find Lily and Jack are getting lost in the background. Yeah, there's where I stand.
I love you.
Lily is, she was my little dream girl, the first granddaughter. And I love that she had the brown hair and she had a space between her teeth, which I had when I was a kid. So yeah, she was our little princess. Lily is full of life. She's into everything. She's into everything, and she's really girly. But yeah, she used to, whenever she come to visit, she got so used to seeing me in my hats and wearing glasses. So I had to take an old pair of glasses and break the lens out of them so that she could wear them around the house. She liked dolls, she liked stuffed animals, and she just had this prim and proper way of almost like she was posing all the time. But she always reminded me of a little girl that lived in her own dream world. She'd play with her toys and she's chattering away to herself. The last time they were here, they were still basically babies. Lily was 4. She was such a carbon copy of me. She copied everything I did.
Lily was very lively, bouncing around the kitchen. She mimicked me a lot, everything I did. Sadly, I gave up smoking and I took up vaping. She was very fascinated with that. So she'd go around and pick up anything she could find and put it in her mouth and pretend she was vaping. So then I had to hide my vaping away from her. She put my hats on. She wanted glasses like me. So I took an old pair of glasses and popped the lenses out. And when she was here, she'd run around the house with the glasses on. She was very chatty, very excitable. She acquired those lungs because, I mean, she used to squeal here, but not that piercing squeal. Lily used to love standing at my patio door because if I don't make it down the backyard to feed the raccoons, they'll come up and put their paws on the patio door, and she'd be on the inside squealing, looking at them. her squeals weren't as loud. Lana come to me and she said, "Look," she said, "Daniel was going to let the lanterns go, but he says that maybe you should be the one to let them go."
Oh my God! Yes.
Now, you know what? I didn't take that as stubborn. I'd have to say that, oh God, it's hard to say. It was like she was telling me she didn't want to go.
Give a fuck about me, 'cause if you stop to look around, it's transferring from me. I can't get back the memories, but the memories tell the stories of the 2 times a year. I'm dragging the story, but I cannot make it stop.
Keep it together, look in the mirror, tell myself you're doing better. Yeah. Ooh, oh, oh, yeah. Oh no. Stars in the sky make me think about you. The love in my eyes get you tell yourself for you. Loyalty in my blood, I will never float on you. Put your trust in me and I'll put my love in you. Okay, baby, it's just us in this world. Nobody can change that. Hey, we gon' fuck up in this world, and we can't change that. Stay up all night, you and me. When I'm with you, I feel free. Stay up all night, you and me. When I'm with you, I feel free.
I begin to wonder, did you ever give a fuck about me? 'Cause if you stop to look around, it's transferring from me. I can't get back the memories, but the memories tell the stories of the 2 times a year. I'm dragging the story, but I cannot make it stop. To wonder, did you ever give a fuck about me? 'Cause if you stop to look around, it's transferring from me. I can't get back the memories, but the memories tell the stories of the 2 times a year. I'm dragging the story, but I cannot make it stop.
Keep it together, look in the mirror, tell myself you're doing better. Yeah. Ooh, oh, oh, yeah. Oh no. Oh, oh. Stars in the sky make me think about you. The love in my eyes get you tell yourself for you. Loyalty in my blood, I will never float on you. Put your trust in me and I'll put my love in you. Okay, baby, it's just us in this world. Nobody can change that. Hey, we gon' fuck up in this world, and we can't change that. Stay up all night, you and me. When I'm with you, I feel free. Stay up all night, you and me. When I'm with you, I feel free.
Begin to wonder, did you ever give a fuck about me? 'Cause if you stop to look around, it's transferring from me. I can't get back the memories, but the memories tell the stories of the 2 times a year. I'm dragging the story, but I
There is nothing more pure and innocent than a 6 and a 4-year-old. And they deserve so much better than what they got.